The Chicago Bears had one of their quietest days in free agency since this free agency began, and the question now becomes, are the Bears already more focused on the draft and preparing for that, and no more major free agent signings may be coming? We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, Ryan Poles does confirm that the Chicago Bulls were in on potentially pursuing Maxx Crosby. We'll talk about all that, plus dive into the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And one of the biggest things, talking points this offseason has been, will the Chicago Bears make a pursuit of Maxx Crosby? Now, Maxx Crosby was eventually traded to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens then rescinded that trade, sending Maxx Crosby back to the Las Vegas Raiders. And now people are asking, can the Bears get back in on potentially a trade for Maxx Crosby? Well, Ryan Poles was interviewed yesterday. He said this: "We're always going to monitor every situation. We were involved. We checked into it. We looked to see if it made sense, had some dialogue. I'll leave it at that." So what does that say? That says that more likely than not, the Chicago Bears are not going to be pursuing Maxx Crosby, especially when you hear about the past tense part of "we were involved," right? That's what Ryan Poles said. We were involved. So that means that if you're taking that for the context of what it is, that could mean that they're no longer involved. Or it could actually mean, hey, we were involved in that version of the deal. It did not happen, and maybe we can get back in on it. But I think at this point now, looking at the Chicago Bears money, they're $5 million over the salary cap. They have to restructure or cut just to be able to sign their draft picks. I don't think that a lot's coming here. The Bears do need an upgrade on their pass rush, and I want to be clear on that. The Bears had 35 sacks last season, which was towards the bottom of the NFL, so we know that needs to happen. The Bears have added some depth in Neville Gallimore and Katavius Street, but there's still a big need there as far as upgrading the opposite edge. And so now that the Bears are probably going to be shifting towards the draft to focus on that. But these words from Ryan Poles, what they tell me is that the Bears are no longer in on a Maxx Crosby trade. And maybe there was like saying that they listened to everything, they were involved, they made some calls, they had some dialogue. It doesn't mean that a deal was ever close, that the Bears ever got to a place of a deal that either them or the Ravens felt, or the Raiders felt comfortable in. And that's probably the reality of where the place that they sit in right now. So, anybody that's still holding out hope, and I've seen your guys' comments, I see you guys all the time. I know there are a lot of Bears fans that are still very much hoping that the Chicago Bears make a move for Maxx Crosby. And as I keep telling you guys, it seems less and less likely as this free agency goes on, as you look at where the Bears are with their money and what's still coming down the pipeline. It just does not seem like something that's going to be there. And like I said, I know I kind of went off yesterday about it. Stop thinking that the Bears improving their pass rush is tied to them going after just a big name. Again, this ain't Madden. Like there's a reality here. There are things that are based that have to happen there. And I do think that some Bears fans miss that. And I get it. As being fans, we don't always have to look at the big picture. But in the reality of it is, that's what GMs, that's what presidents do. That's what they have to look at, is the big picture and the long-term outlook for the team, being this time the Chicago Bears. And because of the financials, it's probably just not going to happen. But with that said, the question now becomes about, are the Bears basically done in free agency? Not to say that there won't be some smaller signings as things go on and stuff like that, but day 4 was the quietest day yet in free agency for the Chicago Bears. And kind of the biggest things that happened is the Bears actually, the players that they didn't re-sign. Jaquan Brisker signs with the Steelers. He's gone. He's on his way out on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal, which, considering the money that he signed for, that just tells me that the Bears, they have a safety target in this draft that they probably feel pretty damn confident with letting Bayard and Jaquan Brisker go, who both were really good last season and had really good chemistry together. Now both those guys are gone. You have Kobe Bryant there to start off with, which is really good. I love Kobe Bryant and the potential he's bringing here. But there are a lot of really good safeties in this draft, and now it feels like the Bears are geared towards that. Keep in mind, Jaquan Brisker was the first draft pick, or the second ever draft pick. Kyler Gordon was first, by Ryan Poles. And we know that Poles has been somebody that has kept on guys that he's drafted maybe too long. So it's surprising that after playing all 17 games last season, after some injuries through his first 3 years in the league, that Jaquan Brisker's on his way out. Also, CJ Gardner-Johnson signing with the Buffalo Bills as well. He's on his way out. We always kind of knew that CJ Gardner-Johnson wasn't going to be a long-term piece here for the Chicago Bears. We kind of knew that even when he signed there, that he was there to fill in, for Kyler Gordon being down. But now that he's gone, it is what it is there. The Bears have a versatile, guy in that defensive backfield that can play multiple positions, which could be really good for the Chicago Bears. And, that's it. And CJ Gardner-Johnson had some problems with the quicker wide receivers as well. That age kind of caught up to him. But, with that said, and the Bears having a quiet-ass day. Like, all we did is re-sign the defensive tackle, right? Basically, is all we did yesterday in free agency. But with that being the move that the Bears did do and they lost players, I think this all now is showing that the Bears are geared up towards the draft. I feel like free agency is basically done for the Chicago Bears. Again, not to say there may not be some more functional signings. Those type of things are definitely a possibility there. But I think overall, we're looking at the Bears being probably done, in free agency for the most part. Keep in mind, like I said, they're $5 million above the salary cap. So they got to create tons of space just to sign their draft picks. But it just feels like free agency is kind of naturally winded down for the Bears. They made their signings. They got some starters out of it. I think when you look at, this free agency period, I know one of these guys was a trade for, but the Bears got, 4 new starters? Kobe Bryant is a starter. Bush is going to be a starter. Garrett Bradbury is going to be a starter. Willis Jr. could be a starter at left tackle for the Chicago Bears. He's probably going to beat out, now that he's explained why he, set out last year. I would not be surprised if the former top 10 pick breaks out Braxton Jones. We still don't know exactly what's going on with Theo Benedict, but, the Bears got some new starters in here, which is good. They got some depth pieces, which is really good, right? Now, I think it's about becoming, especially with the drafts having a first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick, right? So they got 5 picks in the first 4 rounds, which are considered the premium rounds. That's where the Bears are going to try to find the rest of the holes on this roster. I think when you look at it, safety is definitely a need now, right? No doubt about that. You have to find another starting caliber safety. Got to do that. I think that another linebacker is going to be on the menu. Clearly, edge is going to be on the menu. And then I think when you look outside of that, a center of the future is going to be there for the Chicago Bears. With getting Bradbury in a trade, I think that opens you up to find your center of the future in this draft. So you have a solid starting veteran who does not turn the ball, commit penalties, and he doesn't really allow sacks. So being able to have a guy like that as a veteran coming into this team is really important. Now go out and find your starting caliber center in the draft that's going to be your starter, maybe starting as much as the 2027 season, right? So that's what you have to look at it for. I think that's just the reality that we're in it. And for what it's worth there, the Bears showed up at 2 pro days yesterday. Ryan Poles specifically and Dan Rouchar were at Oklahoma's pro day as well. And so when you look at that, it was Ryan Poles, Jeff King, as well, and the director of player personnel, Trey Cozio, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and Dan Rouchar were all there at Oklahoma. And so when you look at it, they have a lot of very high-level prospects from Oklahoma, right? 2 players on the defensive line. They got edge Mason Thomas, right, and defensive tackle Grayson Holton, both guys that could definitely help the Bears and their pass rush and improve that defensive line. Also, you got running back Jaden Ott, which we'll see if the Bears go running back. You got receiver Deion Brooks as well. Linebacker Heineke, I believe is how you pronounce his name, also in that. And offensive lineman Fibishi Naurua, I believe is how you pronounce it. I know I completely murdered his name, but those are a lot of guys at Oklahoma. So that would make some sense why Dan Rouchar there, as well as for that offensive line prospect that's there. But then also, the Chicago Bears also went to the pro day for Kansas State Sam Hecht. And Hecht is, I believe, how you pronounce it. That's another guy. That's a guy that's projected to go in round 2. We've talked about before how there's really no centers projected to go in round 1 in this draft. So with the Bears having 2 second-round picks in this one, they could go after their center of the future there. Sam Hecht is considered the best center prospect in this draft. And so the Chicago Bears could very well go out there, try to get their center of the future. And I think that that's the smart move if they were to do that. So the Bears are setting themselves up. They're setting up to make some smart moves here, and I do think we are starting to gear towards the draft, and that's the important part of all of this is getting it right in the draft. Ryan Poles hit home runs. We had rookies that affected both sides of the ball last season. Now Ryan Poles has to go out there and find more rookies that are going to be able to start, or at least compete for a starting job day one, is really what the Chicago Bears are going to be looking for in this draft. And don't cross out the prospect of them also making trades in this draft as well. That may be where we start seeing some of these trades happen at. So We'll see. I would not be surprised if free agency is a little bit more quiet now for the Bears. The rest of the way, they made it through the first week of free agency. Basically, the first wave is done. There's still some really good free agents out there, but with the money situation for the Bears, I think that paints it in a situation where just don't expect the Chicago Bears to make a lot of moves now left in free agency. Now we're gearing towards our draft coverage. With that said, we're going to shift gears here. It is Friday. That means it is mailbag day. Let's get into these voicemails for today, man. This first one that we got, this one's from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. Just wanted to give my little quick input on the moves we made so far, man. Well, I'll talk about one we didn't make to start off. Because, hell, I just saw No Sean Wright. Hell, he only ended up signing a 1-year, $5.5 million deal? Are you shitting me? Like, that's the money that we couldn't afford? What the hell's going on? I'm sitting here looking at NFL Network, and I see he signed a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. I don't understand that. I mean, I feel like we could have did that yesterday. We could have did that right after we got Kobe Bryant. I mean, if we're not going to re-sign Byard anyway, I feel like we could have at least got No Sean. But, I mean, that move to go get Kobe Bryant, man, was so brilliant that I can't even really give Poles too much slack on that, man. I would have loved to have No Sean if his price tag's only 5.5. But what he did, nobody was even remotely expecting us to trade for Kobe Bryant. That's why I say we can sit up here and do all these draft predictions and all that. We don't know what Ryan Poles was going to do. But yeah, man, that's an under the radar move where, dare I say that's an upgrade over Jaquan? The truth will tell. If you want to say no to that, like, I would understand it, but I think that might be an upgrade, man. But we'll just kind of see how that plays out. Devin Bush, I don't know if he's an upgrade over Tremaine. I think Tremaine has a little bit better instincts maybe, but Devin Bush is fast, man. And I'm excited to see what DA can do with that kind of speed with blitzes coming up the middle. And, it's going to help a linebacker that fast is going to help us with the run game. Definitely when TJ gets healthy. Man, that's really going to help our defensive line out while they figure it out. So I'm excited about that, man. I have no complaints, Ryan Poles. I would have preferred that No Sean Wright on a 5.5, but I've got no complaints, man. If we can find a way, just maybe re-sign Byard, but if we can't, that's understandable. We just gotta trust in Poles, man. Texas up, bear down.
Nashawn Wright, did sign for $5 million, but keep in mind this, Darius, that the Bears are already $5 million over the salary cap. And we got to create a lot of space, almost $12 million in space for just our draft picks, which means that considering we're $5 million over the cap, you got to create another $17 million in cap space just to be able to sign your draft picks this year. So because of that, I can understand why they let Nashawn Wright go. Again, Nashawn Wright was not good in coverage. I know you were a guy that was in on Nashawn Wright very early on, when it came down to it, but Nashawn Wright isn't somebody that I think it makes or lose you by leaving. Yeah, he got the takeaways, but I think this Bears team is going to be gearing towards more functionality and not just takeaways being their identity. But I do love the Kobe Bryant signing, as you said. I think that's good. And, getting Kobe Bryant, getting Devin Bush here, two very good signings for the Chicago Bears. Now, Ryan Poles got to go out there and nail the draft. If he nails the draft, man, we cooking. That's what I'll say. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one's from Vaughn.
Yo. Chicago Bears Central CBC. What's the word? It's your boy Big Von from the low end, and I'm tapping in, man. It's that time. That time of the year. Free agency just popped off, and we got it going. I love the signings we just made early on, day one, day two. I like to think these are depth signing and also what I like to call foundational, rotational signings. You know what I'm saying? These signings are going to lay the foundation for our depth and our rotation. So now we can focus on the draft and we can focus on actually getting younger in those spots that we need to get younger at. Also, as I am making this call right now, Maxx Crosby is not a Baltimore Raven. The trade has been reversed. I'm hearing that there's something going on with the physicals, or they didn't like the medicals or something of that nature. Hey, I'm gonna just say this: yesterday's price is not today's price. You hear me? It's over with for the 2-1s. Let's see. I maybe got a this year's third and a next year's third for y'all, or maybe a next year's second, but it ain't two firsts like y'all thought it was. Or I do you better. I do you one. I give you this year's fourth, and y'all can take Dayo Adingbo off our hands. But no, on a serious note, man, I love what they doing. I believe that this year's draft is going to be Dennis Allen's draft. If you guys notice, with the past couple years when we got Flus was able to make those first couple picks, defensive guys. When we got Ben Johnson, Ben was able to make those first couple picks, offensive guys. I do believe that it's the year of Dennis Allen. I do believe we're going to retool our defense. We need a defensive tackle that we can pair next to Javon Dexter, and as well as give Grady a little push, because, you know, he's getting longer in the tooth there, and we have to attack that defensive end position to get younger there. Guys, I want y'all to remember this too. We have enough DNs on this team to where we can go play, even though they may not beat up to our standards or our like. Remember, guys, we just paid Dayo Adingbo somewhere around $20 million last year, guys. So it wasn't an idea that we was gonna sign Trey Henderson. It wasn't an idea that we was gonna get Khalil Mack or any of these high-paid pass rushers. It's just not ideal. It doesn't work fiscally, guys. I'm sorry, but you know I'm here to be the voice of reason, like I promised y'all from day one. So I'm gonna continue to do that. Man, I'm anxious to see what's gonna happen, guys. Like seriously, I'm really, really anxious to see what's gonna happen. And only time will tell. I do wish we can get Crosby like at a discount and work something out, but we do have a couple. You gotta remember, guys, we got a couple $20 million pass rushers on the team. So I don't know how we gonna do that, but I just wanted to tap in with y'all boys. I love y'all, CBC, Cognac boys, Chicago. Y'all stand up. This our time.
I love how you called it foundational depth. I love that because you're right. Like, depth is huge. It's more important than what a lot of casual fans will have you believe, right? When you're talking about a 17-game season, a 53-man roster, how far you can go in that depth and still get decent to quality play, that really what makes dealing with that 17-game schedule, that grueling schedule, more palatable, right? And that's how you can deal with it a little bit more, because you're going to have guys that miss a game or so, or guys that miss 2 games. You're going to have guys that get banged up, or maybe even the fact of even take that out of consideration. If you can go into your rotations and use your depth and get quality performance out of that depth at times, that helps you preserve your guys, get ready for the playoffs, right? Those type of things. So I think for a Bears team that had injuries all over the board last year, like they did, of course, mainly in that defensive back crew, getting some depth across this team, is I can see why that's a focus by this Bears team, and I don't think it's a bad focus at that. So you're absolutely right on there. Foundational depth. That's a great way to work. That's one of the best ways I've heard to word something, Vaughn. So foundational depth, love it. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Darnell.
What's going on, fellas? This has been a very interesting free agency, especially what the Ravens did, but the Ravens not the Bears. I'm calling because I think Rambo did a really decent job so far, free agency-wise. I like pretty much most of the picks he had. He brought it's out west I forgot to say it in the beginning, but yeah, I like the Kobe Bryant signing. I definitely like the Devin Bush, because now we replace Edmonds. I would like to see how he will play with T.J. Edwards, depending on how well he is. Picking up Garrett Bradbury at center, for someone who didn't give up a sack or had a false start, that's a plus. The Ville and Gallimore signing, I think he's a rotational guy. Khalif Raymond, I think you got a veteran receiver, even though he may be a fourth option, but still he's a 4.4 speed receiver. Ken Lewis coming in from Buffalo. He's going to pretty much probably be in the rotation. Catavius Streets, he's going to be a rotational guy. And Jerry Willis Jr. also may be a rotational guy. But right now, if I had to give a grade, it'd be probably B-. I think Post cooked a little bit. He didn't cook all the way because we didn't get no splash, but it doesn't matter because we still got the drive ahead of us. Let me know what you think. Out West CL. Shot Town up, better down.
it's been an interesting free agency, right? Because when you look around the league, there are a lot of things around this league that have happened this season that are very interesting. So it's been you're right, it's been a very, very interesting offseason for the Chicago Bears and for a lot of teams, right? Like, and I think that's the reality of where we are right now, is that, the Bears, they didn't have a lot of free agent spending power. That's the thing that they didn't have. But I think that they've done a really solid job via what they've had at their disposal. The Bradbury acquisition, I really do love that, especially if we get our center of the future in the draft. I love that aspect of it, and I think the Bears did a really good job with that one, man. So I think overall, Ryan Poles, considering everything that was the limitations that he had coming into this free agency, I think he's done a pretty damn good job. But now go out and nail the draft. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Fred.
Cognac boys, what it do, man? It's be your boy Fred, man. I know I ain't checked in with you boys in a minute, man. I've been working like crazy, trying to take care of everything, man. Hope everything's good with you and y'all family and y'all health and everything, man. I miss talking to you guys. I just want to touch in on the free agency, what's been going on so far. Out of all, like I was sitting here explaining to people, outside of all them free agent signings we just had, it's only going to be 3 starters that's going to start. That's going to be Bush. That's going to be Bryant. And the left tackle we also signed. And also, I'm hearing rumors about that we still might have a chance to get Maxx Crosby. Now, I was talking to, one of my guys about this, and I was telling him, since he had a knee injury, me personally as a GM, I would offer the Raiders a 3rd and a 7th for him, because you don't know if he's going to recover and be back and ready for week 1, you know what I'm saying, with that knee. We don't know how severe the other knee is. That's why the Raiders backed out of that trade. So I think, man, like, honestly, I think we should try to go after Max. But then again, I think we probably either should get an edge or whatever the case may be in the draft, or, or to see if Book is going to be, that next big thing. Because he got it. He can do it. He just got to put size on him. Like, Dennis Allen said, if he sticks to the fundamentals, he all good. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I was looking forward to see, like, what else Ryan Poles do? Do he just say, just go in the draft and get an edge rusher? Or do he get that DC from Ohio State? I've been hearing rumors about as well, too. And, I do like the signing that they did of Kobe Bryant. I wish they could have brought Byard back. But truth be told, honestly, this is why I think, just in my humble opinion, I think they're going to bring Brisker back. They're going to have a tandem combination with him and Brisker. I think they bring him back, pair him on the side of Bryant, because they're young and they physical and they love to tackle. And they do have some speed to them, though. So I think Ryan Poles get Brisker back on a cheap deal and have that, that tandem, in the safety. So we going to see, man. I'm going to sit back and be patient and let Ryan Poles do his thing, though, like he always do. And, guys, can y'all let me in on something, too, as well? Like, is we still getting them picks from Atlanta for them hiring Ian Cunningham as our GM? Because it's been some circulating that Matt Ryan did say Ian Cunningham's gonna be making all the calls or whatever, though. And I think we should get some picks, though. So let me know if we still gonna get some picks or not, though, man. But till then, man, holla at y'all, man. Good talking to y'all. Chicago up, better down or nothing. Let's get it.
Bryant, Bush, Bradbury, and Willis Jr., those guys are all likely starters for the Chicago Bears next year, right? And I think that you hit the nail on the head there. Like, the Bears going out there and getting starters, like, that's the thing. You got 4 starters potentially, are guys that are going to be competing for starting spots, and you've done a really good job at that. You've added some depth at needed positions as well. Now, like I said many times, it's about going and getting that the rest of your starters in the draft. I do think, like, Brisker already did sign with the Steelers, so he's gone. But there are some really good safeties in this draft. And I think that's why Ryan Poles probably felt confident moving on from Jaquan Brisker in this free agency, because the number of safeties that are in this draft, there's a lot. There's a lot of really good safeties in this draft that I think are going to do wonders for the Chicago Bears, and that they can find a starting caliber safety in this draft. And I think that's the important part of this, Fred. And we'll see what the Bears come up with. But I would not be surprised if we come out of this with that young safety, dynamic safety group that is going to help and be really good in Dennis Allen's system as well. All right, let's get into this last voicemail, man. This one's from Keys.
Yo, what's the deal, fellas? It's your boy Keys, man. Hope all is well with you guys. With that being said, let's get to it. So, free agency, the moves that have been made, and now we're going into the scouting part of them evaluating and looking into who they want to add to this team. I think with the 5 picks that we have in the first 4 rounds, it'll be defensively centered. More so the focus, I think, will be like 2 defensive linemen, maybe 3, 2 offensive linemen, and maybe and for sure either a safety or a linebacker. I still don't think they're done making moves with players on this roster, along with making restructures of 2 players that I think I've mentioned in a voicemail before, of Tooney and Jonah Jackson. I think those are like the most sensible restructures. Maybe even a Montez Sweat because he had 10 sacks. So those 3 for sure I could see getting the restructure. It's quite amazing to see Jaquan Brisker not get no money in this free agency thing. Could it be a point where we give him a 1-year prove-it deal if we have the money to do so, you know what I'm saying, after we do a restructure? I don't know. I think it's highly unlikely, and we'll just draft somebody from the draft. So, yeah, but as far as Kobe Bryant, one of the things that Brian Poles said, and I've seen him do it with the blueprint of how they made their team before when he was in Kansas City, before he even left to come here, they focused heavily on the draft. That was a big implication. They may have had players even taken away from, like, moving players, like a Tyreek Hill. I know I don't think it was after he got here, but, like, you think about all those moves that Kansas City made, is very parallel to how they built their team to versus how the Bears are doing their team. Yeah, I love DJ Moore and I love those other guys, even like a Dom and all of that, you know, but just like the moves we made, not chasing after the big players per se in free agency. And I was talking with my coworkers, and one of them said, man, why can't we make big moves like the Washington Commanders, da-da-da-da? And I told them, I was like, look, to make a stable team, you have to go through the draft. If you got to always search and seek free agents, that's a problem. And then it's going to be costly. Look at the Commanders. They went and they did all these trades and lost all this value in picks, and they went 5-12. So just trust the process. And let's see what we can get. But let me know what you guys think. Shout out up. Bear down, fellas.
The Bears, I feel like, are focused on the draft now. I think that that's really where we are right now. When you look at where we need to target in the draft, safety, center, linebacker, edge, wide receiver. Potentially, if you get a guy, I don't think you draft. You wait till about round 3. But if you get a guy that can come in, fit in with Rome and Luther Burden and Colston Loveland and Jahade Walker and just what you have going on there, I think the Bears will go out and get that guy, speed guy. Specifically there is what, but really good hands. They got to have good hands too, because for too long we've gotten speed guys that couldn't catch the fucking ball. So that's what we need to get, guys with good hands in there. I think that's probably what's going to be the focus here for the Chicago Bears. But Haize, you laid it all out. Great voicemail there, as always. Like, I always love your voicemails. But you know, Ryan Poles got what he needs to focus on, and let's see if we can go out there and get it done. I think that we can. Now let's go out there and prove it, and let's see what the Bears can do, man. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Chicago Bears Central, man. Now that, Ryan Poles has kind of confirmed basically what's going on with the Maxx Crosby situation. Want to hear from you guys on that one. Do you think the Bears are done making big moves in free agency, or do you think another surprise move could be coming? Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. You can follow us at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.